Welcome to the Dark Rising player-owned structure tutorial. During the next few minutes we will introduce you to POS, some of the common services available and how to make use of them as a corporation pilot. Player-owned structures, abbreviated POS, are small stations that player corporations may anchor in orbit of moons. A player cannot dock with a POS, only make use of the external modules. There are many different types of structures which can be fitted to a POS that perform different tasks. I'm going to give you an overview, but if you're interested in finding out more, you can find a full list of structures via your market window. The control tower is the central structure of any POS. No other POS structures can operate unless the control tower is online. The control tower is used to anchor structures around it and manage their operation. The control tower also governs the rules of how your POS defends itself against other corporations and determines who is allowed within its shields. Control towers provide energy and CPU, which is used by other structures anchored by the tower. The corporate hangar array allows you to store anything you want. When opened, the layout and naming of the hangars is exactly the same as your corporation office or HQ hangars. Although limited in space, there is more than enough to store ore, modules and loot. To use the corporate hangar array, move your ship within 1500 meters. Right click on the corporate hangar array and access storage. A window that you are quite familiar with will appear, very similar to the one you see in stations when opening the corporate hangars. Open your cargo bay of your ship and simply drag anything that you wish either to or from the hangar. The ship maintenance array structure allows you to store assembled ships. When you store your ship inside the array, you will be ejected outside in your pod. You are relatively safe because you are still within the shield of your POS and cannot be targeted while it is up. Capital ships cannot be stored in the standard ship maintenance array and must instead be stored in a capital ship maintenance array. The array also allows you to change your fitting of your ship whilst in space. In order to store a vessel within the ship maintenance array, approach it within 3000 meters, right click and store vessel. Your screen will take a couple of seconds to update and you will appear next to the ship maintenance array in your pod. In order to take something from the ship maintenance array that you have previously stored, right click and access vessels. You'll see a selection of ships which have been stored by other pilots and maybe even yourself, and you simply locate the ship you want. I quite like the look of this Tempest. Right click and board ship. After a couple of seconds, your pod will be relocated to the vessel you've chosen. You can also use the ship maintenance array to change the loadout of your ship. To do this, simply approach within 3000 meters, right click and open fitting. This screen will be very familiar to many of you. It's the same fitting screen that you get when you're in a station. Basically, in order to use this, you simply open your cargo hold and you can drag any fitting you like from the ship to your cargo bay. It's also important to note that with the coupled with the corporate hangar array, you can right click on the corporate hangar array, access storage, and if you like, you can drag modules directly from the corporate hangar to your vessel. So you can change your fitting very quickly and very easily at any time. Whilst you are at the ship maintenance array, it is also possible to change your drone layout. You can open your drone bay and drag drones back and forth, like so. We couldn't look at POS without explaining a little bit about the defences. A POS is generally anchored in low security space, sometimes in nullsec, and as a result it is a target at all times to hostiles. So in EVE we're able to add defences to POSs to deter hostiles from attacking them, and also to destroy any ships that decide it's a good idea. So if you look at this POS, we have several types of modules attached. The coloured lights, which look quite sparkly, are jammers, ECM modules. What they do is they constantly jam any hostile targets that come into range. If you look at the batteries here, these are torpedo batteries. There are several different types of batteries available in the game. Railguns, blasters, projectiles, autocannons, you name it, it's available. Pretty much the same as the ones you get on your for your battleships or your cruisers. There are also extra large versions for POSs, which are similar to those on dreadnoughts, and they do exactly the same job. They attack anything that comes near the tower. Finally, we have some warp disruption batteries here, and what they do is once someone decides it's a good idea to come close to the POS, they make sure that nobody can leave. So that concludes our summary overview of POSs in EVE, and it gives you an introduction as a Dark Pilot as to the kind of structures you will see around our POS. It's not it doesn't cover everything, because at the end of the day the great thing about EVE is the variety of life and the variety of fittings available. Some POSs are set up as death stars or death traps for dreadnoughts and carriers. Some are set up for anti-battleship and anti-remote repping, that kind of thing. But this is to give you an overview, and hopefully it's been informative. Thank you.